All right, good afternoon. This is part 2 of our Google Classroom training series. This should be a little bit shorter than yesterday. Essentially what we're going to be talking about today are 2 of the key elements that is involved with Classroom specifically. Yesterday, just to recap, we talked about Classroom, how we can use Google Forms, create online tests, talked about how we can use our phone apps, that kind of stuff, how our airmen can utilize that on their own time or when they're sitting around your lounge to actually take tests. So today is how Google Drive and Forms will actually help you to be able to create those tests. Okay, pretty simple stuff, but we'll just go through it. So we're going to talk about Google Drive tools, sharing. Sharing is caring. I say Drive Anywhere. I made that up myself. So Google Drive itself. Anybody ever use it? Anybody have it? Okay, awesome. I'm glad you all. So you're all kind of familiar with what I'm going to talk about today, so it'll make it even faster. Okay. I purchase storage on Google Drive. Cost me $1.99 a month for 100 gig, which is not too bad. I use it for both Classroom, for our work, and for my own personal stuff. So unfortunately, so all the teachers that are on my Google Classroom in Fuels or VM, all the ones that we can create, they will be limited though to what I share with them. So I'll show you how to do that on here. They can't see all my pictures, although if they want to, they can ask and I'll share them. But the stuff that they can get to is just the work-related stuff. So we'll talk about my drive, shared with me, recent, starred, and trash. I'm going to swap over actually to the laptop real quick and just kind of go through a little bit for you. All right, so this is my Google Drive. That's my school, and this is my personal. And again, my personal one is the one I'm using for the Google Classroom that we're talking about today. So just a real quick run through these, right? So this is my drive. This is the stuff that's in here. As you can see, quick access, more or less the stuff that I've been to recently, things that I'm continually working on, or things that I've saved recently. It lists the different computers I have, then shared with me. That's all the stuff that either coworkers or fellow students of the classes I'm in have shared with me, different things that I reviewed with them, different checklists, things I've found, or things I've asked for people to share with me. And that's someone's Google Drive sharing directly with mine, then I have access. You can change what people can do with these files. You can set the settings so where they can just look at it. So if you don't want anybody messing with it, if you feel like your checklist is a masterpiece and you don't want anybody messing with it, you just say can view, and I'll show you that part in the sharing section. You can do can comment, can edit, give them full range. When I submit my homework assignments, if you guys are doing online stuff, you probably do the same thing. My teacher says if I don't make it so I share it as can edit, then she won't give me any credit, because then she can't go in there and make comments about, it was awesome, which is what I want to hear, or hey, you need to change this. It's just what I usually hear. Okay, this is the one I use the most, recent. This, because I open up a million files. I'm just that guy. Usually on if you have a Chromebook or if you use any kind of Chromebook device, I just got a cool new Pixel Slate yesterday in the mail. I've been playing with it. It's really fun. Okay, but there's no file folders. It's just your network browser, right? So I have a bunch of different things open, and then sometimes I'll just get flustered and I'll just go close, because there's too much stuff going on here. Go right back to my drive and hit recent. All my recent files will be there, and I can pick which one I want to go to, so I don't have all that stuff open again. Any questions on that? Pretty simple stuff. Star, these are just like favorites. These are things that you can go through and click on a file and actually star it. Then you'll be able to actually just go to starred, and the things that you use most are in there. And then trash. Trash is a pretty scary place. This is where that stuff that you don't want to work on anymore just goes away. I'm a little bit OCD about deleting stuff. If you look at my email box here at work, I have, 30,000 emails, probably 6,000 unread. Sorry. Sometimes I just don't read emails. Okay. But when you delete them, they go into the trash file, and then you have to delete forever. You can see there's some that there's actually very few things that I put in here, but then if you right click on them and say, hey, I want this, or you just hit the trash button and say, I want to delete this one file, then it gives you this delete forever. So guys like me are like, no, not forever. I have commitment issues, I guess, I don't know. Delete forever, yes, I can't undo it, now it's gone forever. Okay, I'll survive. But that's how trash works in the Google Drive. No big deal. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy to maneuver around there. This little guy right here, you see up here in the upper corner, if you have multiple Google accounts, okay, that little button can be your friend. So if you want to create a work account because Mr. Hall, you want to only be dealing with VM stuff, or you want VM to pay for your Google storage at however much you want, which would probably be a smart thing, right? If we do that in the military, we start using this a little more often. You're going to want to have your own account set up. So that's my personal account. See, it highlights there. So when you click on that, however, it shows that I have another account. So that's my school account. So if I click on my school account, all my schoolwork's in here now. Pretty nifty. I don't have to switch computers. I don't have to find another hard drive. I don't have to figure out what files where. All of it's there. All my schoolwork's there no matter where I go. The beautiful thing is here at work, I can connect to my Google Drive sometimes. Okay? I can see the stuff in there. I usually can't save because the government network's kind of weird, but if I have my notebook or if I have my phone, anywhere I'm at, I have my files available to me. That's the beauty of the Google Drive versus having something on your hard drive at your home computer or your own computer. If your computer's at home and that's where your files are, that's where everything is. Okay? Some people are scared of the cloud. Google's probably one of the most secure things out there. And it comes naturally. All these Google Chromebooks, all the Pixel Slates, they all come with the encrypting that keeps your stuff safe. So, I'm not saying it's not possible that you can have issues with it, but it's pretty safe compared to the rest of the stuff. But again, same stuff that's in here. You can see how much homework I have been doing lately. Look at those. Those are from today, right? Recents. Here's my resume, all the cool stuff I'm having to do for this class. Okay? And again, all I did was swap over to a different account, and all my stuff's there, right for me to use wherever I'm at. Okay. Any questions about Google Drive? Okay? It's pretty simple to operate. Like everything else that Google does, if you actually go to google.com and just search Google Drive, it'll come up with a no kidding checklist of things how to do. It's like its own teaching mechanism. It will train you on how to use the tools because why they want you to use their stuff. Makes sense. All right, back to some slides. Ooh. I already have those shared with my class and my teacher, by the way. Okay, so we talked about all that. Sharing, yay. So why do we want to share stuff?
Collaboration.
None of
Collaboration.
us
Thank you. You're right ahead. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
working on
What was that, sir?
Jupyter.
None of us is as smart as all of us.
None of us is as smart as all of us. That makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, so yeah.
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism, yeah, we want to make sure that we're not sharing other people's work as our work.
No, not in me.
Yeah, okay. So I share stuff with myself between accounts sometimes. So I have 2 accounts. Instead of trying to figure out how to like swap stuff around or go from file to file, I'll just hit share it with my own other Google account, bang. I've shared stuff in this room. I've shared with Sergeant Zexer. Different things that I was working on for Google Classroom. Now Sergeant Silva, who's taken over that role, I've shared stuff with him. Anything that you create, you can share with your team. You can share with students. You can share with whoever. For college, I do the sharing because I share it not only with my professors, but with fellow students in my classes because they get to read my stuff too as peer reviews. So lots of different reasons to do it. I'll show you real quick. You almost saw it a minute ago, right? This is how easy sharing is. It's got this nice big yellow button here. Okay? Share. So you click on share. Right now mine's set up for Fort Hays State University, so that's how it is because I'm set up on my Google account for my school right now. And then you have here, can comment. So I can change that. I go down here to advanced, and I have options. I can share with individual people, right? I can share with just a professor. I can share with just, this is my team right now that I'm working with. I can change, let's see, if I add those names, I can change that. Here you have edit, comment, and view, which is what we had on the slides. Right down here. So again, I have to mark my stuff as can edit because I have to let people go into mine and leave notes and cool little things that they can do. And the professor wants to edit it, and then they put cool little highlights on my thing and say, hey, maybe you should change to this. Now, if you do this, and people do comment on your stuff, you can go in there, you can accept it just like you do in Word, or you can reject it and say, yeah, that's nice, thanks for your comment. No, thank you, graded as is, or whatever. So sharing is pretty simple. Questions on sharing? Man, you guys are too easy. Thank you. All right, so drive anywhere. I talk about mobility where you can take this stuff with you. I've got it on my phone. I know I'm a Googler, so it's a Google phone. I can use it on any mobile device that I have. It's very nice to be able to do that. I can retrieve documents from wherever I'm at. I don't need a hard drive. I used to carry around hard drives everywhere I went. Before I left the house, if I was doing work on my PC at home, I'd quickly, so anyway, I would have to be working on my home computer, disconnect my hard drive, take it with me wherever I'm going, or put stuff on my laptop. Now I don't have to do that. It's kind of nice that I can just go right on my Google Drive and be able to start working. As a trainer and educator, why that's important to me, you guys as trainers, is wherever you're at, whatever computer you're on, you can access the stuff that you're working on. Okay, Mr. Hollow, whatever computer you're working on, you open up Google Drive, and all your stuff is there to be able to help your airmen out. So that's the beauty of that. Who's familiar with Google Forms? Yay. You know a little about Google Forms?
A
Because I
little
made
bit.
you be?
No, curiosity too.
Okay. When I first, I'll be honest, when I first learned about forms, I thought, form flow, what am I dealing with there? But then I started using it more as a quiz making, test making ability, which is really the #1 thing that it does. And it's really simple. We're going to watch a quick video here on Google Forms and how it works. That's not very difficult. So how do you think we can use that? What are ways we could use it?
CDCs?
Okay, CDCs is one thing, right? What else?
Surveys.
Surveys? Yeah, absolutely. When we're talking about leadership stuff, we're always asking our airmen for stuff. If they don't want to tell us, you guys saw the Wing recently started doing this at like Wing stand-ups. Like they put it out there and they say, hey, what do you guys think about this? You can make it to where their names aren't required or their emails aren't required on the forms. And they can answer questions honestly and not feel like, you know, you're forcing them to do that. Any other ways you guys would want to use that in your flights? Okay. We're going to go through it in a second. I'm going to open up Google Forms and kind of do what he did there, just to show you some of the different options that he didn't talk about and how you can do that for CDCs. Okay. Google Forms, for us, this is kind of what I want to talk about, is you can grade stuff quicker. All right, we talked about this yesterday. The questions that I got yesterday was how do we use it? How do we take our CDCs and put it into this kind of format? And some of it's going to be typing it. If you've got digital copies in a Word document and a PDF document, you can copy and paste into this. It's not as beautiful as you'd want. You can't copy the whole document. You will have to copy it one question at a time. But once it is built, it's built. Once you're done, you're done. You got to put in some work. It may take you 6 hours to build your URE questions, especially if you have the PDF document, because you can copy and paste. Okay. Some people, I had a guy that just wanted to type everything. So sure, go ahead, if that's what you want to do. But once these tests are built, you're done, right? The stuff that Google Forms allows you to do is get emails once the student submits these tests and forms. And we practiced that yesterday. You guys saw that in the first round where I made you guys take that test yesterday. We did not send emails. I can show you that on here, but it's very simple. Okay? We just did it. Sergeant Silva and I worked it today, looking at some results and how we can apply it, how we can document the stuff in TVA. Really, the sky's the limit on how we want to do that. However we want to apply those kind of things, that's what we can do. Add-ons. Lieutenant Blaylock, you know what Flubaroo is?
I am actually not familiar with.
Okay, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch a quick video on Flubaroo here in a minute, but it's just the intro. Yeah, I won't kill you with it. It's only a couple minutes. It grades for you, right? It does all that work for you. Once you pull those back into forms, you can hit grade in Flubaroo. It'll populate all the answers. It'll make sure that they got them right based on the answer sheet that you submit with it. Basically you just take the test, that creates the answer sheet for you. And then Flubaroo will mark all your high miss questions. So with CDCs, if you have a group of airmen that are struggling, if it's material management, if they don't know how to process, what's something you guys process?
MICAP.
If they don't know how to process the MICAP properly and all your airmen are failing that particular section, it will highlight that for you. Okay, maybe there's something in your CDCs and how the training goes that is making it harder for them to understand, and that's how you highlight and you differentiate your training. We talked about that yesterday, making YouTube videos, doing that kind of stuff. So it'll give you that kind of data. We don't have that right now. We really don't, right? In the 25 years that I've been doing this, the things haven't changed. We don't have data to collect on high miss questions. You know who does? The Air Force does. They get it on their EOCs, but we don't really see that. The training managers can get that kind of stuff, but by then it's too late. Our airmen have already tested and we can't help them. If they've already failed their end of course test, they're already in a world of hurt, and we don't know why. Okay? When we're doing these URE questions, if we already know there's a pattern with a certain section of the CDCs, then we can help them ahead of time instead of helping them out of the Air Force because they can't pass their EOC. Right? Questions about that? Okay, moving on. Any questions about how to create the form? Okay. One last thing, I want to show you this video on good old Flubaroo. It's just fun to say. I like saying it, Flubaroo.
Did you know that you can use Google Forms?
Yeah, that's definitely Google Forms.
To your students and classes. And now with Flubaroo, you can quickly grade them. For this demo of Flubaroo, I created a fake assignment as a Google form, and I've submitted answers myself. All of the submissions were automatically inserted into the destination spreadsheet shown here. Now that I have all the submissions, I'd like to grade them, which is where Flubaroo comes in. Flubaroo is an add-on that you can install from right within the spreadsheet. To save time in this demo, I've already pre-installed it. Once installed, you'll see a new menu called Flubaroo underneath the main add-ons menu. Let's select Grade Assignment and see what happens. In step 1, Flubaroo asks me to select a grading option for each question asked, such as if it's worth points, if it identifies a student like a name or an email address, or if it should be skipped. Flubaroo will do its best to identify the correct option for you. Once I've correctly selected all grading options, I can click Continue to move on. In step 2, Flubaroo asks me to identify which submission should be used as the answer key. Looking through them, I recognize the first one as the submission I made earlier, which I want to use as the answer key. Once selected, I can continue on with the grading. Once started, the grading should finish within under a minute. Great, it's done already. Now I can click on View Grades to see the result. Note that to record the grades, Flubaroo has created a new adjacent worksheet called Grades, seen here in the lower left. At the top of this worksheet is a summary of the grading, including the average score and other useful statistics. Beneath this are the grades themselves, which include the total score expressed in both points and percent, the number of times this student made a submission, and of course the score for each individual question, which in this case is either 0 points or 1 point. Also, for each question, the very last row shows the percent of students who got it correct. Questions on which less than 60% of the students got the right answer are highlighted in orange. Additionally, the names of the students will be in red font if they scored less than 70% on the assignment. Besides grading, Flubaroo has other useful features as well. For example, Flubaroo can show you a report showing the distributions of grades, which you can email to yourself. Additionally, and most popularly, Flubaroo can email grades to each student. You'll have the option to include an answer key or not, as well as a personal message to include in the email. Thanks for watching. I hope Flubaroo can be helpful to you and your students. Please send comments or feedback to dave@edcode.org. Keep Flubarooing.
Did you know that was a thing, Flubarooing? I didn't either. Never heard of it. What other kind of cool videos are up there? Nothing weird and inappropriate. That's good. All right, so the beauty of Google Forms using Classroom, you don't have to use Flubaroo to send email grades. You can send it to just intern it, and it'll go right to them if you set your forms up to have them put their emails in. Right? So for the Air Force applications of this stuff, for Classroom, for all of this, we talked yesterday about a price for Google Suites. It's $4 a person per month, $48 an airman per year. pretty cheap. We can use that to create an industry email, right? So instead of having them use their personal email, like when I do my assignments through Fort Hays, I have a Fort Hays State Google email account, Gmail account that the school created for me. I didn't have to ask anybody to do it. I got set up that way so they could send me stuff. We can do the same thing for all of our airmen that are in CVCs. It's a process that we have to go through. Right now we're using it for free because we're trying it out. We're still working with Google trying to figure out a way that the Air Force could pay for this, because as it comes down, Fuels is trying to do this as a test base for the Air Force to run actual Google Classroom, run through these UREs, try to make some of these videos and do some of the things that we want to do. And see if it helps. See if it increases scores, see if it helps these airmen understand stuff just a little bit better and make their lives just a little bit easier. Not to mention the amount of time it saves you as a trainer and a supervisor having to sit down with them and give them tests. Sit down in TBA and track the stuff. We already have a tracking mechanism built into the classroom. It's all there. It's easily pulled and reported and emailed to anybody that wants to see it. Okay? Status of trainings, you name it. We have all that stuff in there as far as tests go. Now, individual counseling and that kind of stuff, yeah, you'll probably have to document that somewhere outside of Google Classroom. But we can create something for that too. All right, any questions? So I'm psyched about this stuff. I think it's something that we can use to better what we do now. It's something that somebody needs to take on, somebody needs to push through and try this for our guys. What do you got, sir?
The answer sheet, as you mentioned
Sure.
yesterday, the bubble sheet. Has PL been successful at submitting somebody before their EOC that shows that them scoring through this to be the same as having the bubble sheets to show that they
You mean score like the 90 percentiles or whatever?
Correct.
Since there's nothing written that says it has to be a certain way, like I talked to Sergeant Silva about this exact topic yesterday, a screenshot of their score with the volume URE saved in an email, to me that suffices. I mean, you don't put a copy of the bubble sheet into, you can put that, you definitely screenshot that, print it, and put it into their CDC training folder if that's what you need to do. I mean, how old are we now? We use digital stuff, right? We have these paper folders that we're putting paper documents in when we have digital folders. So a digital printout, a screenshot of them and their success on that test, to me, is just fine. You can email it to the training manager as well. There's so many different options that you have. There's definitely obstacles that we have to how we do it now, to how we want to do it. There's things in the way, but for this use, I'm not really too concerned about those little things. Those are something that if the commander asked me, how do you know this guy got a 90%? Well, I saw it in the classroom. I saw it in the sheets. I could show it to you. As long as I still have that tracking mechanism and I have a way to show them, I think you're covered in that. Right? Good question, though. Anything else? Any other concerns? Mr. Hall, what do you got?
So what do you have to, they can take this test, but they probably have something sitting there next to them?
Sure.
How do you,
How do you prevent them from cheating? You can have them watch, right? You can have them in your room. You can do that. That's fine. It's in their best interest not to.
Yeah.
These are grown adults that we pay to be here. So if they want to have their books out in front of them and use this as an open book time, it's gonna show when they come to you and take a comp review. So I get it. It's integrity. Right? Hopefully they have the honesty and integrity to do that.
Or if you have a tablet that just has this loaded and nothing else.
You can do that,
Then
yeah.
it makes it a lot harder to well, I need to access. I mean, what are you
Yeah.
gonna get digitally? An entire volume? That's insanity to try and find.
So we issued, man, when we first started this out, we had people on night shift and whatever, and Sergeant Zexler would just send it as an assignment in their Google Classroom and say, hey, you have URE Volume 3 due. Take this test. And we never once questioned their integrity, and some people didn't do that great. So you know that they're just they're not trying to cheat,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
You brief them and say, hey, this is in your best interest. You're not going to do well if you just continue to keep looking at the answers. You need to go ahead and take this test. So hopefully they have integrity with it.
Yeah.
You could also just thinking off the top of my head, you could control the comps only, comp reviews at the end of the course, however you guys run that in your flights, because those are going to tell you if they're, because it's just a conglomeration of all the other UREs, right? So as long as your comp review is running that same, you're going to find out. And then you're going to have some questions. I got some questions for you.
And as you mentioned, you can have those Chromebooks bought separately and
Yeah.
have them do that on a Chromebook.
Chromebooks are cheap. They really are. You can get some pretty cheap Chromebooks out there. If you get refurbished ones, even cheaper. And if you're looking at like a slate, those aren't cheap, but it is what it is. Okay? Questions? All right, we can keep talking about it. I'm gonna just turn this off so I can be done. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate your time.